Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Hope everyone's well. This morning's lesson is going to be about respect, continuing on from what Amy spoke about last week about kindness. What respect is a biblical command, so we're going to carry on with that theme and hear about a man called Naaman who was cured. So the story we hear today is from 2 Kings 5. It says, Naaman, the commander of Syrian army, was highly respected and esteemed by the king of Syria because through Naaman the Lord had given victory to the Syrian forces. He was a great soldier, but he suffered from a dreaded skin disease. In one of their raids against Israel, the Syrians had carried off a little Israelite girl who became a servant of Naaman's wife. One day she said to her mistress, I wish that my master could go to the prophet who lives in Samaria, he would cure him of this disease. When Naaman heard of this, he went to the king and told him what the little girl had said. The king said, Go to the king of Israel and take this letter to him. So Naaman set out, taking 30,000 pieces of silver and 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 changes of fine clothes. The letter that he took read, This letter will introduce my officer Naaman. I want you to cure him of his disease. When the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his clothes in dismay and exclaimed, How can the king of Syria expect me to cure this man? Does he think that I am God? With the power of life and death, it's plain that he is trying to start a quarrel with me. When the prophet Elisha heard what had happened, he sent word to the king. Why are you so upset? Send the man to me and I'll show him that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman went with his horses and chariots and stopped at the entrance of Elisha's house. Elisha sent a servant out to tell him to go and wash himself 7 times in the river Jordan, and he would be completely cured of his disease. But Naaman left in rage, saying, I thought that he would at least come out to me, pray to the Lord his God, wave his hands over the diseased spots, and cure me. Besides, aren't the rivers back home better than any river in Israel? I could have washed in them and be cured. His servants went up to him and said, Sir, if the prophet had told you to do something difficult, you would have done it. Now why can't you just wash yourself as he said and be cured? So Naaman went down to Jordan, dipped himself in it 7 times, as Elisha had instructed, and when he was completely cured, his flesh became firm and healthy, like that of a child. He returned to Elisha with all his men and said, Now I know that there is no God but the God of Israel. So please, sir, accept gifts from me. Elisha answered, By the living Lord whom I serve, I swear that I will not accept a gift. So in the story, we hear that Naaman initially got told by his Israelite girl, the servant of his wife, to go to Israel because there's a prophet there. So he went full of pride to the prophet, and he was really angry at the prophet that the prophet never even came out to him, because he thought, well, this prophet should come out, he should wave his hands over me, touch the spots the way that needs to be cleared. And the simple instruction was, go into the river Jordan and dip yourself 7 times and you will be cured. And one of Naaman's thoughts were, well, I've got better rivers back home. Why couldn't I just dip myself in the river? So he wasn't going to get cured if he wasn't going to follow the instructions, the commandment, and show respect and obey God, obey the prophet. And when he did, and he went to the river Jordan, he humbled himself, he obeyed the instructions, and he dipped himself in the river, he was cured. So in the point of the story is that Naaman's pride got in the way of him being healed. And when he finally showed respect to the prophet and he was humble enough to obey the instructions, he was obeyed. And that happens to us when we are asked to do something by parents and we think we're doing something better, but maybe watching TV and your parents have asked you to come and wash up dishes or tidy up your room or something, and you aren't respectful, you are not only upsetting your parents, but you are upsetting God. And we shouldn't let our disrespect get in the way of God's blessings. So we need to respect and show respect to everyone who we may encounter. And it's not just respect by doing things that they've asked us to do. It could be showing respect by body language. If you stand in front of someone with your arms crossed and an angry face, that's not showing them respect. Maybe ignore when they speak to you, or the tone that you speak to them in. If you shout at them, whoever's maybe speaking to you, you aren't showing respect, and we are letting that stop us from receiving God's blessings. We need to show respect, love our neighbor, and we will be filled with God's blessings. So our activity this morning, I've got two. You can choose which one you want to do. So the first one is, if you're a little bit older, you could do this. It's writing a newspaper report of the story that we've just read. So it could be breaking news: Naaman cured from a horrible, dreaded skin disease. And then you can write about how he initially didn't show respect and he wasn't getting healed. And then when he finally showed respect and he humbled himself and he obeyed the commandments, then he got healed by following the instructions of dipping himself in the river 7 times. If you want to read the story, the Bible verse again, it's in 2 Kings verse 5. And you can have a massive bold heading, and then you can have a little picture at the bottom that shows him getting healed. And then another craft you could do is you could make a Naaman cup. So I didn't have a polystyrene cup at home. I just got an empty yogurt container and washed it out, and I used that. So you can decorate the paper before you stick it around, make it look like river water. I did use some blues and greens and browns, and then I had some fish stickers that I just put on here. You can draw your own pictures on it. You can have stickers on it, make it look like river water, and then draw Naaman. He's smiling because he's followed the instructions. He's now been healed. He's obeyed God and he's been healed. He didn't let his disrespect and disobedience get in the way of God healing him. And yeah, you can have a Naaman cup. You could have 2 pictures like this if you wanted to. One when he's first going into the river with his diseased, spotty body, and then coming out in his clear, young skin again, where he's been healed. Yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed the story and hope you have a great week. Bye.